How's it going, everybody? This is Radishhead, and welcome back to another episode of Upland Analysis. Wow, there have been a lot of major announcements into Upland recently. Probably the one which I'm most excited about, Neighbourhood ranking system, which is something that we've been anticipating for a long time. For those of you who aren't aware, all neighbourhoods in Upland are shortly going to start receiving a neighbourhood ranking, and that is going to be based off a whole number of factors, such as the number of properties in that neighbourhood, how many players have set their residence in that neighbourhood, how many meta ventures are there, how much outdoor decor there are, how much are the people living there contributing towards the community pool, and the neighbourhoods that score the most are going to actually be upgraded into collections, and those collection modifiers can go up or down depending on the ongoing growth of the neighbourhood, which is obviously hugely exciting for myself and a lot of you guys watching who are either leading their own neighbourhoods or taking part in other community projects. I'm currently digesting a lot of that information and trying to figure out what that means for myself as the leader of the Mosswood node, but also for the rest of the game as well. In the meantime, I thought it'd be really fun to take a look around and revisit a video topic that I did a year ago, which was where are the most developed areas in Upland by percentage of buildings completed, because everybody loves a top 10 list. Some of the wildest insights that I noticed were last year when I did this video, 7 out of the top 10 neighborhoods were in San Francisco. Now only 1 of them is, which is really interesting in itself. And last year, the number 1 neighbourhood, Mosswood, was at 25% complete. Now, the 10th ranked, so the bottom of the list, is at 40% complete. So that just goes to show, you've got to keep building to keep up. You might have been on top last year, but now you're not even on the list, because that's how much the community's grown, how much people are getting involved in building up these neighbourhoods. I, as always, want to thank my executive level channel members, Bad Frog and Monopoly Mike. And you may be wondering, Radish, where is your cursor looking at right now? This looks pretty cool. There's a lot of houses being built up with Halloween decorations. This is a up-and-coming node called Bayswater, and they are the sponsor of this video. If I zoom out a little bit, you'll be able to see Bayswater. It's located within Queens, and I've bought in there because I think it's very accessible in terms of the pricing and how quickly it seems to be rising up in terms of the amount of properties there, residents. I always see them well up on the list in terms of residents. Plus, they have the Blocky Bees meta venture shop, which is amazing because I'm a big Block Explorer fan. Blocky Bees has one of the greatest prices in the whole Upland Metaverse. I'm always checking that place out. What's Bayswater all about? They pride themselves as kind of the holiday vacation destination of New York. It's about having a nice relaxed atmosphere and community, and when the outdoor decor comes out, this whole place is going to be kitted out with nice luxurious outdoor decoration. A lot of it is actually along the waterside, which is quite a rare commodity in New York, and they want to take full advantage of that with yachts. I know that for a lot of people watching, getting involved in a node can be quite expensive or quite stressful, and I genuinely recommend Bayswater in Queens as a really fantastic starting node, because the prices are really very reasonable for New York. I think it's about 15,000 upticks to get in, 16,000, not too bad at all. For a neighbourhood that's growing as quickly as this one. They've got a Discord, the link is in the description and the pinned comment. They are so friendly on there, and as a fellow node runner in Queens, we are absolutely going to have ongoing relationships. I think it's important that within New York that the nodes work together. I'm a big fan of Bayswater. I love this kind of luxurious vacation destination they're trying to do. I can see it getting built up so quickly. To me, it looks like an up-and-coming place. Plus, they do loads of giveaways on the Discord, so you can absolutely not lose at all by at least checking them out. Thank you very much, Bayswater, for sponsoring this video. Now, let's take a look at this top 10 list and see where the absolute most built-up places in Upland are today. Now, it's worth mentioning that I've only included neighborhoods that have at least 100 properties on them. That does mean that certain nodes like Handsome Dam in LA, Harlem in Kansas, and Greektown in Chicago, they're all fantastic, but they're also so small that it felt like including them in a percentage build-up competition wasn't quite within the spirit of what I'm trying to do. And this also is only a built-up percentage, not total spark hours or total number of buildings, which does mean that certain nodes, like Portage Park, they have an incredible number of structures complete, but it's also a big neighborhood, so you won't be seeing them on the list. So that kind of puts into perspective what you're going to be seeing. But number 10 on this list is Fort Wadsworth in Staten Island. It's just on the river here, near the bridge between Staten Island and Brooklyn, I think that is. It has the big like fort battery landmark on the end here, which is very cool. It's got 144 properties and 60 of them are built up, kind of like a pink and blue theme going on here. It looks very pretty. The floor price, if you want to get in at Fort Wadsworth, is about 75,000 UPIX, and I think it's a pretty cool place to be. At number 9 on the list is Boys Town in Chicago, and this is always one which I've been kind of wanting to get in because I used to do a lot of treasure hunting around Chicago, but it's just so expensive. It is a fairly small neighborhood, but it is very well built up, as you'll see when they pop into the screen. 44.6% of the properties in Boys Town have already been built up. You can see that it's a fantastic collection of different colors and styles. If you happen to have about 110,000 UPIX lying around, you too can be a native resident of Boys Town in Chicago. Number 8 on this list is actually one of the larger neighborhoods on the list, and that is Quailwood in Bakersfield. It's got about 700 properties in it, which is all the more impressive. They've managed to build up about 47% of the neighborhood with structures, and they're not just structures, they are all colored mansions. That's absolutely crazy. It's about 70,000 UPIX to get in when I last checked. Big fan of Quailwood in Bakersfield. We're now entering the neighborhoods that have already cracked the 50% mark, because 52% of the Sheraton estates in Kansas City has been built out, and again, lots of high rises here. They're taking advantage of all of the space that's available. I love all of these blue townhouses along the bottom here. They've got the low price store NFT shop. I can see they're building a factory along here as well. It's kind of a funky shape, this neighborhood. I think there are quite a few small neighborhoods in Kansas which have turned into nodes. But you'll notice it's one of the only meta ventures within the city as well, so that is absolutely a claim to fame. 52% constructed already, so congratulations to the Sheraton estates. Heading up into the 56% completed range now is Marble Hill in Manhattan. Even though Manhattan itself is one of the oldest cities in Upland, Marble Hill itself is a little bit of an unusual case. It was actually only released kind of fairly recently, separate from the rest of Manhattan. It was actually all of the people that have properties here, unless they bought them from someone else, they kind of had to buy them in a special support for Ukraine sale, I believe, and this has sort of become the support for Ukraine neighborhood. So lots of people are flying their Ukraine flags on top of their buildings, you'll see, and lots of them are colored in the Ukraine colors, yellow and blue. It's one of the more expensive ones to get in on just because it's Manhattan, I think. 170,000 UPIX if you want to become a resident of Marble Hill. We're heading over to Los Angeles now, and it's a node that is fairly close to my heart. It is, of course, Century City. Century City was founded as a node that was going to cater to the absolute most elite clientele within the Upland Metaverse, and they have certainly attracted a decent number of chief executive players there already. They have an incredible number of larger buildings, including townhouses. They have 2 of the best meta ventures in all of LA, and as far as I'm concerned, all of the Upland Metaverse. It's got a super organized community. It's got a price tag to match. I think is about 300,000 UPX floor, so one of the more expensive ones on the list. But if you have that kind of money to spare, perhaps Century City in Los Angeles is where you want to be living. If you head on over to Detroit and you look near the river, sort of towards the west side of town, you're going to come across a neighborhood called Mexican Town, and that is the 4th spot on my list, with 57% of the properties having completed structures on them. They've gone for a similar color scheme to what we're trying to do in Holliswood, being the white and red, and it really does stand out. I love these mansions in the middle here where they've been able to fit those, and it looks like they've got is that a medium factory, I think, that's gone up here, which is very exciting as well. I think Mexican Town is a fantastic example of a community where there was quite a lot of collection speculation about this neighborhood when Detroit first came out, because it's quite an iconic part of the city. It didn't end up becoming a collection, but the people who bought in, they loved the area, and they said, hey, you know what, let's just add our own value to this area, let's build it up, let's attract people to come on over, and that's exactly what they've done. Mexican Town, number 4 on my list. Here's a fun fact: Kansas City is the only city on this top 10 list that appears twice. That is how widely spread the popular neighborhoods are in Upland right now. It's not all concentrated in San Francisco like it used to be. But I bet a lot of you weren't expecting Kansas City, or in fact Timber Valley, to fall in at number 3 on the list. Timber Valley, with 210 properties, and about 60% of those are already completed. And look at them, they're ranch houses. You don't see many ranch houses in Upland. People tend to prefer the smaller townhouses or the large townhouses because they're a bit narrower. But yeah, look at that, the ranch house. I think if you manage to coordinate and get a whole bunch of those up, they look really cool. And of course they've got some nice mansions as well. I just think in Timber Valley, just having such an awesome scattering of lots of different ranch houses, I think that looks fantastic. And I think in terms of pricing, it's one of the more surprising ones on the list. It's the 3rd most developed neighborhood in the game right now, and it's only 62,000 UPX to get in. So yeah, Timber Valley could be a bit of a sleeper that you may not have heard of. Could be worth a closer look. Number 2 is what was number 1 on my last list a year ago, which is Mosswood in Oakland. Mosswood being one of the oldest and most highly distinguished nodes in all of Upland. It's got a incredibly organized and enthusiastic community. It's been building up just non-stop. It may have fallen a rank from number 1 since the last time I did this list, but they have not been slacking at all, because they have rocketed up from 25% built last year to 67% built now. So they are absolutely making moves. I can still see a whole bunch of properties getting constructed. When is it going to stop? I just don't know. It's about 100,000 UPX to get in, which I don't think is too bad when you think about just how established this community is. I can't wait to return to this topic next year, and maybe we'll be in the 80s or above percentage by then. I was saying at the start of the video, there were 7 San Francisco nodes in the top 10 last year. Now there is only 1, but that one is number 1. That's right, it is Midtown Terrace in San Francisco. It's outlasted all of its San Franciscan competitors. It's outlasted all of its other competitors within the Upland Metaverse. It's still going strong. It's just got such a positive community. It's got so much history. Was it the first node ever? I think it might hold that claim to fame. The fact that it's managed to, stick around for so long when so many other nodes have come and gone. If you want to be part of a real piece of Upland history, Well, you might be out of luck because everybody's priced out of this place. It's about 500,000 UpX floor, but I think we can look at Midtown Terrace as a absolute dream goal to try and achieve when we're thinking about what a node can be, what a community can be in Upland. Will any neighbourhood ever overthrow it? Only time will tell, but for now, Midtown Terrace, at an incredible 68% completion, holds its crown for this episode. Congratulations to them, because I know a massive amount of work has gone into achieving that. So I hope you all found that extremely interesting. What neighbourhoods do you think will be appearing on this list next year? As always, I love to thank my executive and director level channel members, Monopoly Mike, Bad Frog, Rasmus Bro, Tashar Zing, and HH Toyboy. Thank you very much for your ongoing support of the channel. Community Scores in Upland is a fantastic and exciting new development. I can't wait to see where it goes, and I'll be reporting on it as we get more news. But until next time, I'll see you then.